Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Manic Movie Misfits podcast.
We're back.
We're back. Stop interrupting me. TJ, we had this conversation off screen. If you interrupt me at any point...
One more time. You're done. You're fired.
At any point, TJ, we talked about this.
Oh my
if
God.
you interrupted me, I would come over and slap you.
Oh, shit.
Now,
With what?
with the clapboard.
I was hoping it would be that.
Which, by the way...
Ooh.
But
Nice.
I've decided I'm going to be nice.
Okay.
I'm going to restrain myself. So I'll give you 3 strikes.
And then I'm
1,
out.
2, 3 strikes, you're out. At the old ball game.
Thank you, Mr. Sir.
Anyway, I'm John Phillips.
I'm the other guy, Trevor.
That's
Hi.
Trevor. And you might be wondering, what is going on with the setup?
The hell's going on?
We got some new background stuff here.
We
Some
do.
new background stuff over there. We decided to change things up. Didn't we, TJ?
We have. It's a new setup.
It
I'm
is.
liking it.
I'm liking it too. TJ is actually a part of the dark side of the Force, and so that's why he's in red. So I wanted you guys to sort of key in on that.
Yeah.
I'm a good guy. Remember that. I'm the good guy.
And I'm not.
So TJ's all in red.
Yeah.
I'm in blue. Actually, I do get a little red, but maybe I'm a gray Jedi. I'm kind of both. Kind of both,
Fair enough.
going on. But
Nice one, Qui-Gon.
thank you. But we're trying a new setup out, and this isn't the final version of it, obviously. But this is a big step forward in the direction of trying something new.
We're working towards something new.
Yes, and you also notice a different lighting setup too. It's not that warm orange light that we had before. This is better we think, for cameras and
Yeah, we had the LEDs before, but they were like the little lights. But
yeah.
I mean, yeah, most of it was yellow and harsh and gross, and now we got LEDs.
Yes,
Yay.
looks all nice. And other than that, I think we can really get into today's business, TJ, unless you have something you need to tell me that's important and maybe might destroy our friendship.
My ex-wife is coming to town.
Wait a second.
Nah. Yeah, I got nothing.
Okay.
I don't think.
All right. Well, on today's agenda, after I try and regain, or not, I shouldn't say regain, but try and gain a LaCroix sponsorship. LaCroix, you see us, get us, sponsor us.
Sell out.
Shut up.
He sells out. Oh my God.
Have you ever felt you needed a cold beverage and needed to relax? Well, look no further than LaCroix.
You're destroying the Waterloo sponsorship that we're totally getting.
Okay, see, my whole thing with that is we've only done Waterloo once, okay? We don't have we've built too much of a foundation already
Yeah, with LaCroix.
with LaCroix. So
LaCroix is like that ex-girlfriend we just can't get rid of.
Exactly.
Well, we know Waterloo is just a little bit better, but we just can't shake a nice little LaCroix.
That's right. TJ, what
Yeah.
is on today's agenda?
The Iron Claw,
Isn't this how they do it? Like this?
something like that. I think the pinky might be out, but I can't tell.
Oh, I don't remember. It's like kind of like that. I'm
It's
trying to do the
something
Iron
like that.
Claw, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I mean, they can see that.
Well, if they're only listening on audio.
Oh, okay, true.
Which, if you want to listen to us on audio, remember there's Spotify, Apple
Spoofy.
Podcasts, Google Play, all that stuff. But we're also on YouTube. That's where you can get the visual stuff. But as TJ said, we got the Iron Claw. We're going to talk about the Iron Claw, which we'll get into here in a second.
Yeah.
And then we're going to talk about the Oscar nominations, which is quite relevant given the fact that Iron Claw got 0.
Yeah, nada.
Even though a lot of people thought it would be in contention for definitely nominations and maybe even some wins potentially. The only thing I have for us before we get into the Iron Claw is some lovely sound board bites
Ooh.
that I have
My
collected. One that I've used before in the past, and another which is new from last episode. So this one, and the reason I'm not for those that are wondering, why don't you get sound bites from movies? We don't want to do that because we're not too familiar with how to get rights for that sort of stuff yet.
I think it's one of those things where I don't know if it's, most things it's like if it's under a few seconds, then they don't really care.
Actually?
Yeah.
All right. Maybe you'll see some movie sound bites that I may or may not have already created.
Hell yeah.
For the show. But anyway, here's some of our homegrown sound bites. We got one here.
Do it, Anakin. Fly inverted.
Oh yeah, it's a classic.
It's a classic. It's been we've had that one for a while. And then there's this one, which is brand new. Brother, this guy stinks.
Yeah.
Which actually will be a very relevant soundbite for many things if one of us is being an idiot.
Absolutely.
Which we are. We have Manic in the title. That's just kind of
We've been
how that
keen
goes.
to do that every now and then.
Just a little.
Just a touch.
So I think, TJ, unless you have anything else, we should get right into Ironclaw.
Yeah.
I've seen it twice. You've seen it once.
Yeah.
What is one thing that you enjoyed about Ironclaw?
It's
The Ironclaw.
Yeah. Do you just want to preface our basic opinions of it first?
Yeah, let's do spoiler-free talk.
Okay. Yeah. Spoil the basic opinion of the movie. It's a great movie. It's I'd say it's definitely one of the best of last year. I think without a doubt. For being like a true story kind of thing, like it hits all the marks of like a good true story movie, but also it gets a little artistic with it, and it's like it's not shy of like doing its own thing, which I think it's nice. It's fun. It's got a good energy that like sets it apart and like gives it its own like I guess reputation. But yeah, I loved it. I mean, I think just the vibes of it is like the best thing. I think is like the one thing that I'd say is like the one thing that I just loved so much about it.
Yeah, ditto to what you all said as far as general thoughts on it. I was very pleased with Zac Efron, who prior to this movie, I didn't think he couldn't do a hardcore drama role, but I did have some skepticism, I'll be honest.
Yeah. Well, he tried in the past, but like kind of succeeded, but also kind of not. He was interesting.
This is a genuine Oscar level, nomination level type of performance.
Exactly. It's the first one where it's like, oh,
yeah,
he can actually act.
He can actually act. He's on his own in the sense that there are several stretches of this movie and scenes where if he doesn't work in the scene, the movie doesn't work. And quite frankly, him being the main brother in the movie, if he doesn't work, the movie in many regards doesn't work. Because even though you have great actors like Jeremy Allen White, and you have that British fellow who I can't remember the name of,
Harry Dickinson, Dickinson. Something like that.
I know he's a good actor.
Yeah.
If you don't have, even with those two, even if they put in a good performance, which they do.
Yeah, they're great in their parts.
They are. It's a great ensemble, and we can get into that.
Mm-hmm.
The movie still wouldn't work because your main guy is not working. And
Exactly.
Zac Efron works at a very high level, and I was very pleased with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those movies, like, I mean, you can make a case that, like, a lot of movies are like that, where it's like, if the lead doesn't work, a lot of the movie doesn't work. I think, Zac Efron, I mean, for being, like, I think the catalyst into the like, group itself, he's one of those guys that has to work in, like, practically every scene. Like, even if he's not the main focus, if he doesn't have that same, like, energy, it doesn't click as much.
Definitely.
For better and for worse.
All right, now we're going to get into some mild spoilers, I think, TJ, because I do want to, like, add some more definition to our conversation.
Yeah. Just kind of like piece by piece, kind of get into more.
Yeah.
I get you.
I don't want to hold anything back in for the most part. So what I mean by that, ladies and gentlemen, is going forward, we are going to bring up scenes in the movie, maybe in some specific examples, but they aren't going to be anything, again, like major. Like,
we're not going to bring up like big crazy plot points.
Yes, if someone is murdered or whatever, it doesn't happen in this movie, but if someone gets murdered or is kidnapped, we're not going to bring that up.
Yeah, if it's a major plot point, we're not going to be like, this happens in the movie right now.
Yes.
We will later, but probably.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want spoilers, skip to some part in this podcast where we're not talking about the movie.
Where we're talking about Oscar nominations.
Yeah. Or we're on some tangent.
We're on some tangent, or maybe TJ uses all 3 of his strikes, and I'm slapping him.
We'll have some quality content.
Either way, it's gonna be awesome. Let's get to that ensemble because we've talked about it so much already.
We have.
What are your thoughts on how the whole ensemble worked, and what were your sort of favorite relationships and dynamics in that whole main really 5 or 6?
Yeah, I mean, just in general, like the ensemble's great. I mean, you got, like we mentioned, we got the 3 brothers, and then we have I think it's Holt McCauley is the guy's name.
Correct.
Yeah, from Mindhunter and some other stuff. I don't know what. I know he's been around.
He's in Zodiac as well.
He is in Zodiac. I always forget that. You got Lily James. I know the mom is someone big.
I didn't even realize, by the way, that Lily James was in the movie till I saw her for the first time while watching the movie.
I think I saw her in like something like pre-release, and I was like, oh, she's probably in it for a little bit. And she had a decent role in the movie, and I was like, all right.
The thing is,
good for her.
She is one of those actresses where no matter what role you put her in, she's going to deliver. Like she will be. Yeah. Bottom line, she'll be satisfying.
Exactly. I've only seen her in a few things. I'm like never like disappointed with the performance she puts in. And I think like this is exactly it, where she's like not like a main character. Like she's not like in like 90% of the scenes or something like that. But like in the little bit of collection of scenes she is in, she's like very like well done, and like the acting is, I mean, top tier. Which I mean can be said about a lot of the actors in this movie. It's like where they're on screen, they deliver most parts. I'd say 95% of the time I'm like, I mean, that's just how it goes.
It's agreed. They're all performing at an extremely high level. We talked about Zac Efron, but it's more than Zac Efron. What really touched me with the movie, and it's relevant because we're talking about the ensemble, is they really did feel like they had a brotherly love for each other.
Exactly.
And there was a brotherly dynamic, where there was them like all grabbing each other's heads and coming together and embracing. Yeah. There was something that was so palpable with all that brotherly stuff, and also their close yet distant relationship with their father. That was also very well. That was explicitly told very well, very clear lines in how that whole relationship worked, really with the whole family.
Exactly.
And given that it's a movie about a family, you kind of need that.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't be a family movie without kind of like establishing that kind of energy, or also just the whole vibe of it just kind of misses just in general. So, I mean, yeah, the relationships between every character I think was like clearly defined and like I think progressed in a way that made sense while also like not being too explicit or too how do you say it, like it wasn't too like overwhelming but not underwhelming. That's kind of what I meant to go with.
I see what you're saying.
I tried to use different wording and that didn't work.
You're good.
Yeah.
We're not Joe Rogan here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry.
Mr. Rogan, you scare me.
Joe Rogan, if you'd like to come on the podcast, we're here.
I think I'd be terrified.
What, that he would do some jujitsu moves on you and take you out?
I don't know. I've never watched Joe Rogan, and I think just his bald head scares me.
Yeah?
It puts a little bit of fear in my heart.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm sorry, Joe. It's just true. Don't take offense.
Yeah, sorry, Joe.
But
yeah,
the Iron Claw.
The Iron Claw, yes. One of the brothers specifically that I'm really drawn to, again, all great performances, is Jeremy Allen White. If not because he's on such a high pedestal right now with how successful The Bear is and how much everyone loves The Bear and all the awards he's winning with it. He is climbing up the ranks as one of the
top
actors of his generation.
Exactly. Yeah, everything he's been in has been like consistently he's been praised for it, and like I haven't seen something where it's like he's like everyone's good but him not so much. I've not seen a single thing where it's like, I mean, like even when his days back in like Shameless or that's the show, like he was constantly praised for like back then, and especially from people now going back and they're like, man, he was so good in this show, like why didn't we talk about this more, kind of thing.
Yeah. he comes in later in the film, actually, which makes it sort of a kind of adrenaline rush because you realize, oh, that's Jeremy Allen White. The movie's so good already, and we haven't even gotten this great actor in the mix.
One of the best actors in the ensemble, let alone like the person that like most people are like hyped up to see because he's like the biggest person.
Mm-hmm. And he delivers.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we truly had to rank them, he's granted Zac Efron has an advantage because he has to do more.
Yeah.
So I would like rank. I don't know about you. I would rank Zac Efron 1, and then he'd definitely be 2 as far as.
I think I like Henry Dickinson a little more.
Interesting.
I think for me personally, I just like I really like the first like bit of the movie with him, and I feel like, but the chemistry between him and Zac Efron I loved. I think like every scene where it's like those two are like the main focus, I think they absolutely kill together. Which I mean, he isn't. I don't think he really has like his own like personal like just him scenes. And I think that's where Jeremy Allen like really shines. But I mean, like I'd say like, I mean they're already pretty level, I'd say. But I think I just like for the dynamic, I like Henry Dickinson I think a little more.
I think you make a good point. If you consider how much Zac Efron's doing, how much each actor is doing.
Yeah.
If you kind of find a middle ground with all of them, like how much what they're putting into the performance that they're given.
Yeah.
There actually really is no one that's significant. There's definitely no one that's significantly better than the other to the point where, which again, I think that helps the whole brotherly thing where it's like there's not one that particularly stands out over the other because there's this very cohesive, same level type of energy that's going on. Like we talk about, Vincent Hanna and Heat going crazy with the give me all you got.
Exactly.
There's none of that. It's all a very
even keel.
Also a lot of nuance going on as well, especially with Zac Efron, to where once you kind of equate things, it's all very seamless, all very level, all very one group.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can even say that like about like some of the other supporting actors that aren't the brothers. I mean, like I think the parents are kind of like on the same level where it's like there's such nuance to it there, but like they have very different chemistry with everyone else, so they're not going to be in that same kind of grouping, but they have like that same level of like they're putting in so much, but they're in that like side role kind of like just top tier greatness kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. What'd you think of the performance that was given for the dad? Again, what was the actor's name you mentioned?
Holt McCauley.
Yeah,
he's really good. I mean, kind of like all the side characters. I mean, like he's not in like every scene, or I'd say he's like he has like sections where it's like he's very like one of the most popular characters like in the movie, and then he'll kind of fade out. Like I feel like characters like do a good ebb and flow through the movie. And I think like every time he's on screen or like it's like a focus, he delivers. And I mean, I think it's just the fact that I mean like everyone else in this movie, they're good actors. So I mean, you can't go wrong there. But I mean, him in the dad role, it's just like it fits so well. And I think like he like just like look wise, I feel like you get that vibe. And then like just like mentality wise, like he nails it so much.
Mm-hmm. One thing that sold me with his performance, that the way the movie, like the camera kind of has the same perspective, and the camera does a good job of this as well, is his acting performance and the, dare I say, like the camera's acting performance. 'Cause you know how they always talk about how cameras can, cinematography, they kind of have an acting sort of ability. Where they kind of, you see what I'm kind of saying?
Yeah.
Or
the way the camera moves and
the way the camera moves, the way the camera, because right, camera work, cinematography. You learn about this in film school, whatever.
We didn't go to that.
We didn't go to that, but I'm just saying it's a thing, right? Where you set up the camera can sometimes accuse characters and set up characters and tell you things about characters, right?
Yeah. I mean, it can show emotion and the way you move it and all that. Absolutely, yeah.
When you include the camera movement, his performance as the dad,
mm-hmm.
and the way just the writing of the movie, the way it's all framed, I thought they did a fabulous job of not making it a movie of this is all the dad's fault. All you're about to see is the dad's fault. It's the dad. It's the dad. It's the dad. Yeah. Everyone's accusing the dad. It's the dad. What's going on with the dad? Yes. Should I say dad one more time?
Maybe.
the way they set it up as at least from the I'll go camera and then framing and then the specific performance is very much an observer. Yeah. Like the whole film is just observing this situation going on. It's not, there's so many true story movies where it's easy to tell when a film is accusing someone of something.
Yeah.
They don't ever do that in this movie. It's really wild. Even though one of the more common conclusions is to say this is all the dad's fault. Mm-hmm. And then when you go, and that's from the camera, the way the camera and the dialogue and everything is shaped.
Yeah.
And then when you go to the performance of the dad, it's not some, again, I did a Vincent Hanna reference again. It's not some high energy where there's a clear evil looming quality where it's
exactly
clearly he's the villain here and this is all his doing. Yes, obviously he's putting all this stuff in place, but the camera and his performance is more so saying, well, let's think about it a little more. Let's think about what's going on here. Let's not jump
point
to
fingers
things
quite yet. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, thought all that was good, and his performance was good. The mother's good.
Yeah, she's not in the movie for much, but like I'd say like the few scenes where she's like actually a focus, she's really good. Like I've definitely enjoyed the stuff that she put in. Mm-hmm. Actually, I don't even know who played the mom. Let me check.
She was listed actually relatively high up on the casting list. And while you look that up, the last thing I'll mention, which I should have said a few seconds ago, is when you bring all that together, when you bring the framing of everything through the dialogue, through the characters' relationships with each other, through the father's performance, and now I think, or I don't know if I want to do this because I'm trying to figure out a way to frame this without getting into heavy spoilers. Actually, I can do that. It almost makes it, to me, I don't know how you got this.
Okay.
That there's this third party in the whole blaming of why all this stuff is happening to the family. And to me, that third party is almost like, I was talking to my sister about this when I first watched it with my sister, and then I watched it with you a second time.
Yeah.
I kind of equated it to almost a disease, where it's a disease that is slowly taking over this family.
Yeah.
And yes, the father is like one of the main carriers of the disease that brought into this family. But there is this sort of tone and this sort of essence that it's more than just him. There is this disease that's seeping into everyone.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what they talk about like early in the movie with like the curse. They kind of almost frame it kind of something like that in like the few scenes like where they talk about it early on, and it's like it's very much not just like a tale that like you're like, oh, that's gonna be like what happens to everything. Like, yeah, obviously, I mean, that's kind of what we all know, but like it's the way it's like you said, framed, and like the writing of like how they go into it. It feels almost more palpable than just like being some writing tool of like, oh, we have this curse, and it's like, well, yeah, obviously. It's less like it's yeah. I don't know where I was gonna go with that more, but
no, I completely agree, and they do mention that. I love the narration by Efron at the beginning. That's so
good.
It sets up the aesthetic in the movie, which you talked about earlier, which is so unique, and it's not your stereotypical true story movie.
Exactly.
It's so good, and we can talk about things, for example, like the cinematography and the editing or whatever to make that so unique. We kind of talked about what the whole not blaming the father disease thing is definitely one of the things that pushes it away from your standard
thing,
true story, biopic, sports movie. But there is those other elements as well that
Yeah.
kick in.
Oh yeah, I mean like all of those kinds of like labels where it's like it's a sports movie, it's a true pick movie. It's like, yeah, but also it is kind of like it's more.
It's more than a Rocky movie. No offense to the Rocky movies.
Yeah, I mean it's more accustomed to like parts of Rocky 1 versus like Rocky 4.
Yes.
Where Rocky 1 had more of a like a thing to say and like a vibe to it. Like it was more of a filmy film where, I mean, no offense to Rocky 4 like you said, but it's like, yeah, Rocky 4 is just a blockbuster. That's all it is.
It's so hilarious how it seems like every 5 minutes in that movie there's a song and a montage going on. It's the most hilarious thing ever.
It's so goofy.
Yeah.
That movie is something else. In the best and worst ways.
Yeah. What'd you think of the wrestling scenes themselves, like in the ring?
Yeah. I mean, they were really good. I think like the coordination or the choreography of them was super well put together, and I mean I don't know much about like wrestling or anything like that, so I can't be like, this isn't how they actually do it or anything like that. Like, plus I don't want to be like that guy. But I think like just like the way it was put together and like the way they shot it and like the way that everyone kind of moved around, it was just like it felt like everything I'd seen from like a wrestling match or something like that, or that kind of wrestling at least.
I loved the lack of chaos in the cinematography of all those wrestling scenes, which is very abnormal because the immediate jump would be to, we got to make this as shaky cam and chaotic as possible because we have all this.
This isn't 2009.
But not necessarily shaky cam. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it could be other things too.
You got to be in the action.
But unironically, by having the camera still, and not having it so chaotic, it actually gets more intimate with the wrestling that's going on in the ring itself.
Yeah.
And again, an unusual touch, but I love it for that because it feels more personal and adds to the whole this thing that we're building and we're talking about, which is this personal story with this family.
Exactly.
And it's a lot more pleasant to watch too than opposed to a bunch of shaky shots going on.
Yeah.
And you really get to experience and the wonderful choreography that's going on. It looked like, I was paying attention, especially the second time, it looks like the actors are doing most of their own stunts in that movie because
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because without having that shaky cam, it's a lot easier to see, like, pay close attention and say, oh, that isn't Zac Efron. Oh, that isn't Jeremy Allen White.
Yeah, they look a little different there. That's odd. Yeah. But yeah, I was just going to say, I think I have the same opinion where it's like, that's definitely, like, there's a strong chance that, like, they did their own stunts and, like, it wasn't just, like, a bunch of stunt guys running around. And, yeah, like, I always like it when, like, these big, like, these things that, like, should be, like, very action-y, especially, like, in a normal movie, are, like, taken less, like, for granted in that regard. It's just, like, we're going to take a step back, we're going to try it a little differently, and we're just going to shoot it as if you're, like, sitting there watching wrestling. And I think that's one thing that's, like, really cool about it. Is, like, it's not just, like, we're going to get in the ring and we're going to, like, shoot the camera all crazy. And it's like, no, we're going to have it be fewer, longer takes of just, like, wide out or, like, wide shots and stuff like that. It's great. I love it.
It was, again, another one of those things that separates it from so many of the other movies that are in the genre.
Sports movies, yeah. Exactly.
I think now I want to talk about a couple spoiler stuff. You want to put that back up, TJ?
Oh yeah, I didn't even see that go down. Well, I mean, I couldn't have, but
yeah, our set is literally falling down. It's literally collapsing. This is the
uncut version.
Yeah.
You get the behind the scenes footage.
Hopefully that stays.
I can't tell. It kind of sounded like it was like the glue was going a little off, but I couldn't tell.
Okay, we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out in 5 minutes.
Yes, we will.
But
I think I don't know if there's anything else that I want to talk about that doesn't require spoilers, because there is one thing in particular that I do want to talk about.
Yeah, I have a feeling I know what it is.
Yes.
See, I know things.
TJ knows things. We've been doing this quite a while.
Yeah. And just I've known you for even longer.
Yes, that's true. All right. The last note that I will say, which will transition us into the one particular scene I want to talk about.
Okay.
That does require spoiler warning. Is this film has this Sean Durkin? Is that the name of the director?
That sounds right. I have the thing pulled up real quick.
Okay.
I'll fact check. Yes.
There is a clear artistic command with this film where clearly it knows where it wants to go. It knows what kind of style it wants to use.
Exactly.
And it knows how to use that abnormal style in a very straightforward sports movie.
Yeah.
And adds to the flair of the movie, whether it's the transitions, which there's some brilliant transitions in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Both editing wise, actually, but then also within the shot. And I think now we'll switch to spoilers. So for those that are wanting to move on in the podcast, be sure to go check out the Oscar noms conversation, which I'll link. I'll show the timestamp for what to go to for that.
Yeah.
Where to go to for that. I think particularly of the shot where Zac Efron is standing over Jeremy Allen White in their practice ring when Jeremy Allen White is trying to get back into wrestling after his injury.
Yeah.
And it's in the dark. It's beautifully shot. Zac Efron's in the center, like looking down on his brother, and he picks his brother back up, and they start, kind of going at it again, practicing.
Mm-hmm.
And in the back, you can see a tiny light moving around.
Yeah.
And it cuts to their younger brother who has taken all those pills and is going to die. That's not a editing transition, but that is a beautiful transition and a very effective transition within the frame.
Exactly. It's a good use of just like the background space, and like it's a good way for storytelling wise, like writing wise, where it's like you can see it, or like in directing and stuff like that, where it's like you can see it and like you're like, obviously like that's something that can't just be nothing.
Yes.
And I think stuff like that where it's like an obvious like thing of like this is where it's gonna go, but like how is it gonna cut immediately to this, or are we gonna do something else with it first, or like what's going on? That's just a great like use of film, just like technique.
And I think the pinnacle of Sean Durkin saying, I'm putting all my chips in the table. This is a sports movie, but I'm putting all my chips in the table, is that almost out of nowhere heaven scene.
Yes. Yeah.
That is by far the strangest move for a sports movie. What on God's green earth is going on? You're not necessarily your first reaction, but like if you look at it in comparison to the movies that it sits next to, you're thinking
even the rest of the movie.
Even the rest of the movie. That's very true. You're thinking, what on God's green earth is going on? Jeremy Allen White has both of his legs, both of his feet.
Yeah.
What's going on? And then as it slowly develops, you realize this is debated. Probably this is the most beautiful section in the movie.
Yeah.
And it's up to opinion, but at least one of the most beautiful sections of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes so much sense in this movie.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it kind of really does. Like, it's one of those things that helps tie the movie together, and like,
it's a movie about. Did I freak you out there?
I was like zoned in on a thought, and I was like, man, how do I finish this thought? And then he jumped in. I was like, whoa.
Did you think I was gonna leap over the table and grab you?
A little bit. Gonna wrestling tackle me
in honor of the movie.
Yes.
But it makes so much sense. It's a movie about brothers.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
a movie about brothers. And that scene is about brothers coming together, embracing each other, and being in peace with one another.
See.
And I think the final bit that grabbed me, and actually like this, I did actually tear up, was seeing their young brother who died when he was like just a young child, a baby.
it's a good touch.
It's such a nice touch. I also love how there's no music going on. It's just completely silent throughout the entire thing.
Yeah, that sequence is like,
Yeah.
it's all nature sounds, and
Yeah,
it's for the best.
it is. I would dare say that's definitely a top 3 scene for me. I don't know about you.
I'd probably say the same.
Yeah. Did you thought it worked well, TJ? That scene?
Oh yeah, I love it. I think it's a great like you said, way to cap off the movie and like kind of to help like tie in like the theme or like the energy of the movie, of like the family aspect. Well, it's like although all this tragic things have happened, it also isn't like the absolute worst thing in the sense that like they are together in the afterlife, and it's sad yet it's beautiful in its own little way.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Is there any other things that you would like to highlight? The one thing that I'll highlight is the soundtrack is banger.
Yes. Yeah.
We've mentioned it before. I'm sure you guys are aware of it from our music tastes, from our, Spotify Wrapped episodes, but we love 70s and 80s music.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
that's what the soundtrack is.
Yeah, that's pretty much, yeah.
I love, dude, the one shot with Don't Fear the Reaper, Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Where it goes through the
I forgot that's a one shot.
It is, dude. It's a one shot.
Yeah, I remember watching that and I was like, that shit rocks.
It's so sick. It's all the fans going into the sportatorium, and then it I believe the one shot continues all the way into the sportatorium, I'm pretty sure.
I think it does.
And goes into the wrestling stage.
I think it just like it might cut like around the foreground area and then cut to something else, but like it's still pretty like it gives off almost like what people like about that one Goodfellas shot where it's like it follows people through things. Yeah.
It sets the environment up. The 70s wrestling environment.
70s, 80s, wrestling, like small town country, like wrestling, like just Friday night vibes. It's great.
As soon as Tom Sawyer kicked in, I immediately was like, TJ is going to love this.
Oh, yeah. Love me some Rush. Can't go wrong.
Which I think you've worn your Rush shirt on some of the podcast episodes.
I have. I don't have it anymore. It's too small.
Actually?
Yes.
Man, that sucks.
I think. I might need to get another one. Oh, no. Another shirt for Rush.
Another shirt. Wait, so... Because Rush is still like a top 3 band for you, right?
It's around there.
Yeah.
Definitely like top 10.
Top 10.
Yeah.
Because I know there was a stretch where you went on a big Rush kick, correct?
Yeah, like I occasionally get on like an artist, and I'll like Smashing Pumpkins was the same way, where it's like it'll be pretty much everything I listen to for a while.
Can you check TJ real quickly and make sure? Look at the screen and make sure the camera is recording. Does it look like it is?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the red dot's up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we're good.
I see the counter going up or the timer going up, so
we're
good.
good. That was strange how it just like.
Yeah,
That never happened before. I don't.
No. And it's not like you changed a SD card or anything.
No. Anyway. All right. I think that's all I have. Is there anything else you'd like to mention, TJ, about the Iron Claw?
No, it's a good movie.
All right. It's a great movie, yes. It will... I was kind of on Letterboxd just for funsies. I was doing ranking my sports movies that I've watched. And I'm still working on it, but all of them that I've watched, it's easily... If we're talking just sports movies... Again, it's up there like top 5 for me. Easy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially like, I mean, for being like, I mean, like there's things where it's like you have your stereotypical sports movie and it's like, I mean, you remember the Titans and your Rockies and stuff like that. And it's like, that deserves like its hype. But also there's something to like being more of an artistic version of that and like being like different and trying something new. And like, I think that's something that this movie does for the sports genre. Or like grouping of movies that like we hadn't really seen in a long time.
Agreed. Agreed. Now, when I found out that this movie got 0 Oscar nominations, this is what I felt. Ready?
Brother, this guy stinks!
This guy being the Academy.
Oh, the Academy.
So this movie went up for 0 Oscar noms. Mm-hmm. Got 0.
Not a 1.
Really disappointed in that because to me this wasn't a movie like Ferrari, which we talked about on the podcast, where it was
Ferrari.
on the fringes in many ways of like performances and
Yeah.
other parts of the movie. This was very much this is what the Oscars love. They love biopics. They love straight cut films.
Exactly.
And there is some really beautiful performances going on in this film.
Yeah, some great writing. I mean, you could have given a few of like the big stuff to this movie. It doesn't.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And what do the Oscars love? The Oscars love comeback stories, like famous actors who were associated with a comedy genre or some other like non-dramatic genre that takes the turn and is really fantastic.
And something that's not what they're used to.
Correct. They love that stuff. And it got zero nominations.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, how? Why? What? Yeah. It really is kind of just like a travesty in that respect. Where
It
it's like,
is.
I mean, it's such a good movie, and it's obviously one of the best of the year. Like, give it something, even if it's like not even that big, something. Just like because like the production of the movie really good, the writing great, the direction great. I mean, I get some of the big stuff is like, I feel like it's very like we already know what's gonna go into the big stuff. So, I mean, it would have been a good like dark horse pick where it's like, that's random.
It's, if I had to describe it in one word, it's a sound movie.
Yeah.
Like there's no big flaws. It's all very effective.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing hollow about it. It's very concrete.
Exactly.
And all the things that it's trying to do, as we've discussed this last half hour.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it's just, I don't know what was going on. If there wasn't enough campaigning going on for Zac Efron, because, there's always that piece to it, which kind of sucks, but it is a reality of any award show, sports, or movie-related, music-related. There is this campaigning aspect. I don't know what it was. Just didn't go.
It didn't. And I mean, like, I would say, like, maybe it was something where it was, like, it came out at the tail half of the year. Like, in that last, like, 2 weeks. But at the same time, it's, like, I mean, tons of other stuff has done that and, like, gone up for tons of awards. Like, 1917 was, like, the perfect example of that. Where it's, like, I mean, it came out in, like, the last week of the year, and it went up for, like, every award. And it's, like, obviously.
It's like 1917, a war movie. The Oscars love war movies.
Oh, shit. Whoops.
Are you breaking the set, TJ? What the heck, man?
No, I have my foot resting here, and there's this little doohickey attached to one of the mics, and I'm like, it scared the hell out of me.
Yeah. So, I don't know. But
yeah,
moving on from the Iron Claw, what are some nominations that you really like, TJ, that you maybe have some gripes about, that you think other movies that you think maybe should have got nominated, or other roles that should have got nominated? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, my basic opinion of the Oscars this year was, like, not surprising. It's just, like, everything I feel like was gonna go up, went up, or, like, most things that, like, everything that was, like, Best Picture at the Golden Globes was pretty much there. It was, like, there was nothing new. Same with actors, same with, like, there was no, like, weird, like, oh, this person randomly got something. It was kind of just, it was very basic, and I was like, all right, cool. Not bad. I mean, but it's just one of those things where it's like, it's so bland, I don't want to say. And I feel like it's one of those things where it's like, we already kind of know the winner, which is probably Oppenheimer.
Which, rightly so.
Yeah, it's a fantastic movie, but like, I feel like it's one of those things where it just sucks all the energy out. It's like, we obviously know it's going to win. Stop, like, acting like it's not. Like, and if it's not that, it'll probably be like one of two movies. It's like, it already has itself cut out, and it's like, I feel like the same thing with like the actors and stuff like that. And it's just like, there's nothing too crazy.
That is the one thing, is will the broadcast kind of be dull, because
it's more like
we know what's going to win.
Yeah, it's not like we're in a 2019 where it's like it's down to like 3 movies and it's like anyone could take it. It's Oppenheimer, respectfully. And it's like, okay.
Which, for me, it's a double-sided thing. On one side, I totally agree. It makes sense.
It's a deserved movie.
Deserved movie. Nolan hasn't won ever. He was, for the longest time, regarded as someone whose movies weren't going to win those awards.
No.
And it's
It's a great
every
biopic.
single aspect of that film is working at basically the highest levels possible. There are movies that are fantastic, and there's movies that are fantastic in part because the craft that is going into this film, that film, is
so
incredible.
Which, I mean, like, you could say that about a lot of Christopher Nolan movies, and, like, I'd say, like, in that respect, like, it's one of his best. I mean, I'd say, like, arguably it is probably one of his better movies, probably ever, which
Do you think
says
there's
a lot.
chance that so they're nominated for 11, I'm pretty sure. Do you think there's
Something
a chance
like
that Oppenheimer wins over half of those awards?
Probably. Which ones is it up for? I don't even know.
I know the one it didn't get up for, one of the ones it did not go up for, which people were like a little peeved about, but it kind of actually makes sense, is visual effects, because there's actually technically no visual effects. I think the argument was there's technically no visual effects going on in Oppenheimer because it's all practical.
Nominated for 13 Oscars.
Okay, if you get to the list, read it out for us.
It's trying to load real quick.
Okay.
Come on, IMDb, you can do it.
Come on, IMDb.
All right, I'm just gonna disconnect from your internet.
Okay, my internet sucks. It's okay. Which, it's weird. It sometimes sucks, and then it's like every time we want to play Fortnite, it's incredible.
That is very true. All right, I'm just gonna go and reload the website just in general.
Okay.
Because sometimes that works.
Well, from the ones that I remember and can think of, if I had to guess, knowing the views and the reception everyone has for Oppenheimer, I would say it would win more than half of those awards. If I had to guess.
I'd say so too.
If we were if the two options were more than half or less than half, I would go more.
I'd say so too, especially in like okay, here we go, Oscars. I just went to their website because I'm like, this is gonna be so much easier.
Okay. I mean, dude, basically one of the biggest locks of the entire Oscars is Robert Downey Jr. winning. He's going to win. It's just a fact. It's just a fact.
It really is at this point where it's like, how could it not?
He's won all the other awards, and everyone loves him. Everyone loves RDJ, and everyone in Hollywood loves RDJ.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same with him.
You know what's hilarious? We were literally just talking about Oscars love when an actor who was working in another genre, who wasn't like known to like be in these artsy Oscar level pictures, once they make that turn and they're in one of those films and they do a really good job, the Oscars love that. Well, hello.
Straight up. Let's see. It's up for lead actor, of course, which it'll probably win.
So that, yep. I'll count that as a lock. So we'll say 2 locks.
2 locks. It's Emily Blunt is up for one. I don't see her winning.
She won't.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one who thinks that, because everyone seems to really love her in this movie, and I'm like, she's not in it for that much. Let alone, I don't feel like she did anything that amazing compared to.
No, she was. She did her part.
She's good in it, but I feel like everyone was like really going crazy for her in the movie, and I'm like,
people, you can have a good performance that doesn't get nominated.
Straight up.
Or wins. Obviously.
Cinematography.
Lock.
Probably. Costume design.
I think Barbie could win that. Isn't Barbie up for that?
Barbie, Killers, Napoleon, Poor Things.
I won't consider that a lock. So
yeah. Directing.
Who's he going up against?
The person who did Anatomy of the Fall, Killers of the Flower Moon, Poor Things, Zone of Interest.
I'm gonna say lock.
It probably kind of is.
It kind of is, dude. There's a momentum here with Christopher Nolan as a individual.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the same thing as like Spielberg or Scorsese, where it's like everyone loves Nolan for the name. Editing.
What is it going up against?
Anatomy of the Fall, Holdovers, Killers, Poor Things.
I'm gonna say lock.
A theme.
I'm gonna say lock.
Makeup.
I'm not gonna say lock for that one.
Same. Music.
Lock.
Yeah. That's original songs. Best Picture, of course.
I'm gonna say lock. Yes.
Yeah.
I just like.
It's so real though.
I don't want to be boring, but at the same time, it's too good at everything the Oscars want, and then too good at just being obviously a movie. Like, it's a fantastic movie.
It's a popular pick. It's like one of the biggest films of the year for like just Oscar bait. Like, I want to say Oscar bait, but like the bait of what the Oscars love.
Yes.
And like overall, it has everything going up for its win. Oh yeah, production design, sound,
Sound, I would say lock.
yeah, not visual effects, writing.
What's going up for writing?
American Fiction, Barbie, Poor Things, and Zone of Interest.
To me, that's the one they could lose. I think they could win all. Like, I think there's those 6 locks, and I
Yeah.
think that's the one they could actually lose.
I'd say same. Yeah, then the original writing is Anatomy of the Fall, Holdovers, Maestro, May, December, Past Lives.
Okay. So, dude, that's like 6 locks that I have,
Yeah.
basically.
So
And
half.
yeah.
Exactly. It's one of those ones where it's like I feel like it's gonna sweep. Like it'll do the equivalent of what All Quiet did last year, where it'll go in there, it'll win it like half the things, and everyone will be like, "Yep, we kind of saw a lot of this coming."
Yes. Which, again, deserved, but does also make some things a little boring.
Yes.
That 2019 show, which you and I watched together, was awesome because we had no idea what was going to happen that year.
Exactly. Everything. I mean, like we had a good idea with some of it, where it's like we probably know Joaquin Phoenix is gonna win. Totally fair. And like we kind of know that like this person will probably get this and like XYZ. But like I feel like with all the big stuff, like most of the big stuff, it was still up in the air. Who knew what the hell was gonna happen? This is like the exact opposite. It's really weird.
Yeah, it is. Is there any other movies Oscar related, TJ, that didn't get nominated that you'd like to mention?
Oh, I mean,
Now, I need to catch up because a lot of these movies I have not seen because I was doing this thing called school.
yeah, I don't even know how many of the Best Picture ones I've seen.
You've seen more than me, I know that.
I'm gonna pull it up real quick. I haven't seen. Okay, so it's American Fiction, Anatomy of the Fall, Barbie, Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, Zone of Interest. So I've seen 3 of 10.
I've seen 2 of 10.
Yeah, so we're pretty much on the same page.
That's fair. I guess really the only big one that you've seen that I haven't is Killers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I think like the next ones I want to watch is like Past Lives, and I mean,
We talked about Anatomy of Fall. That sounds awesome.
yes, I'm down to watch that one sometime soon. But yeah, I mean, like I feel like Holdovers has a good chance to win some stuff, maybe here and there, because like that was a big one, and like I part of my problem is just like the Best Picture category is just so saturated every year now, because it's like
Aren't you on the boat that there shouldn't be 10 nominations?
Yes, absolutely. I think it's so stupid that they nominate 10 movies every year. I think go back to 5, make it no different than any other category. It makes it more competitive and actually interesting. And B, it just like at that point it just becomes a short list of movies that you think are the best. So if that's your thing, just make a short list.
Mm-hmm.
Just make a list of 20 movies that you think is good and just stop doing this. It makes no sense. It's supposed to be a competition, and then you're giving brownie points to people that, although yes are good, don't make the cut. It'd be like doing a top, or it'd be like doing like a beauty contest and doing like, here's the top 3 people, but also the people who are 4 through 10 are also going to be up on stage too, and it's like, sit down.
That's a good analogy. Yeah.
It's exactly what it is. And it's like, it makes no sense. And it boggles my mind that like they just think it's good to do that now. Because I'm like, no.
I agree. I don't have anything really to counter that with. I definitely agree. Yeah.
And I mean, like, I get it that like a few years ago, I mean, like it was like 7 or something like that. And like, that's fine. 7, good enough. And then it hit these last few years, it hit like 10, and I'm like, why? Like, I mean, like 2019, we all knew Ford v Ferrari was not winning.
Yeah.
But at least they got it. It's cool. Put it on a short list.
Couldn't agree more.
I don't know, it frustrates me.
A movie that didn't get a Best Picture nom that frustrates me. That didn't get it is,
I know.
yes, Across the Spider-Verse.
Across the Spider-Verse.
The Oscars continue to downgrade.
Belittle animated films.
Yes. Boy and the Heron and Across the Spider-Verse. Neither got nominated for
Straight up.
Best Picture.
Yeah.
What's going on, TJ?
I don't know. They, I mean, if they do, it's, I mean, they haven't nominated an animated movie in like 10 years now.
Yeah.
Because I think we talked about this last year, or whenever we talked about this. Last one was like Toy Story 3, or like Up, and it's like that was over 10 years ago now, so that's depressing. But yeah, I mean, these are some of the best movies of the year, and rightfully so. They should get something. But
You can't tell me that Across the Spider-Verse is a worse movie than Oppenheimer.
yeah, I mean, it's such a good movie.
Spider-Verse is also one of those movies, like Oppenheimer, where everything is working at a very high level. The actual craft that is going into making this film is about
It's impeccable.
It's basically perfect.
Straight
I mean,
up.
it's the attention to detail in the animation is so good. And then you have the story itself, which is, yes, it's not some complex, dramatic piece, but it is
At the end of the day,
sound,
yeah, it's fantastic.
and there is still a great emotion to it. There is
Yeah.
a lovely family. The family dynamic is brought out even further in this film compared to the first one, and it works so well
Yeah.
between him and his parents, and then of course you have his other family, which is all the spider people. Yeah, I guess that's how you say that. And it's just I'm just disappointed.
Yeah.
Again.
Practically, I mean, it's such a good movie. It's all around, like I mean, like the animation of it, the writing of it, just the voice acting, everything about it hits so well. And like, I mean, like some of these other films, like that didn't get the nomination, it's like it's just as good. Or some of these things that did get the nomination, like it's just as good, if not better, than some of these movies. But just because it's animated, it doesn't get the time of day because they're, I mean. Oscar people are kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
That's why when you see things like the Letterbox top, what is it, 250? There's so many of those movies that have. I mean, there's a lot of those movies that have 0 nominations or very few nominations.
Well, it's the true winner at the end of the day. Yeah, exactly.
For those that are wondering, I'm pointing at Heat and Before Sunrise. Heat is considered a masterpiece by many. Michael Mann's best film, has 2 just like god tier actors that are literally performing at their highest level.
Yeah.
And then you have Before Sunrise, which is a lot of people think is a fantastically written film.
Yeah.
Didn't go up for any screenplay award at the Oscars.
Nada.
We know what it is,
Straight up.
but it is still disappointing.
Yeah. Ugh, yeah. Yeah. The Oscars are on something else.
To me, they actually did, like, if sometimes we talk about, well, when did the Oscars kind of turn for the worse? Like, because there was a long while there where they were actually doing a good job of getting the right films nominated for the most part. Obviously, no one can be perfect, but getting most of the right films nominated. And to me, it's somewhere in the 90s where that switched.
I'd say so too. Yeah, where it's like, there's something to it where it's like those 90s films, like some of them are just so good and it's like no Oscar noms, and it's like, how? Where it's like if it were released 10 years earlier, it would have been an Academy darling. It would have been like all time goated in that respect. But yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like the industry somehow changed for the worse in that respect. And it's just kind of getting worse, I'd say. but also I'd say a little better. Because I mean, like, at least they did nominate animated movies in the past at one point.
At one point in the
like 3 times 10
distant
years
past.
ago. It's like, do it again, please, for the love of God.
Yeah.
I mean, you just now started doing like foreign films more. Do animation.
Yeah. I mean, and that's fair. Like, it is fair to say that they are improving in some regards. Like, they are like thinking about foreign films more, which is awesome, because like Parasite and Everything Everywhere All at Once Everything Everywhere All at Once wasn't an international foreign film, actually.
It wasn't a foreign film, but it had a lot of foreign ideas in it.
Right. And then, but of course, Parasite being the pinnacle of that. Like,
exactly.
That is, I mean, we watched that Oscars live, so deserving.
Oh my god.
So deserving.
Yeah.
I think like initially when I had watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, The Irishman, and Parasite, I was like, I think for a while I was thinking Once Upon a Time a little higher, but we all, even then we both recognized that any one of these films is deserving.
Oh yeah.
And I think looking back on it, still any one of those films are deserving.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad Parasite won that one. That was cool.
I mean, hypothetically, if like any of those movies came out like a year later, it probably would have won.
Yeah, because the next like couple Oscars kind of sucked, right?
They haven't been as good.
Yeah.
But I mean, just like in general, where it's like they were at such a high craft, and like it was such a good collection of movies that like you couldn't like you couldn't say like this one was worse than this one. And I think anyone's opinion on like which one was the best one, totally valid. If you thought Jojo Rabbit was your favorite of the year and the best of the year, good for you.
Yep.
If you thought it was Parasite, good for you. No one's wrong. But yeah, that's just like some of these ideas have been kind of diluted through the years. What even have been the last few winners other than Everything Everywhere?
I don't know. And I was gonna go somewhere with what we were just talking about as my voice just decides to keel over. Yeah. I think I blame it on you. I think you gave me some disease that's going to kill me in a couple hours.
Oh, yeah.
You did it, TJ. Congratulations. You have the lone control of the podcast.
Hee sucker.
That's what you were doing this entire time, huh?
Yeah. Coda won 2022.
Okay.
Which, I mean, big win for indie movies. I'll give it that. And then the year before that...
But we can be real. It's not as memorable as the other... That's the three I mentioned.
No. Nomadland won. I forgot about that one. It's a good movie.
A good movie, but I mean, from what I've heard, but I still don't think it... I mean, I haven't seen it, but I don't know. Would you say, TJ, it's better than those three movies that I listed? The Irishman?
No.
Once Upon a Time? Yeah.
No. It's a good vibe movie, and like in that respect, like it's a fantastic little movie. But like, I think like, yeah, compared to all of these other ones, it's like at
least the trio that I mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like most of the movies from that year.
Yeah,
I mean, you could have put any movies in that trio, and I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, you go Parasite, Nomadland, Coda, like Everything Everywhere. It's like, I mean, Everything Everywhere, I think is like the only one that really puts up a fight, and the other ones are like, it's whatever. But,
yeah. All right, TJ, any final thoughts on Oscar nom stuff? I think once you and I actually watch more of the movies, it'll be like something good to revisit, and we definitely will in preparation for the broadcast and for the awards. But is there any one or two final thoughts maybe that you want to mention?
No, not really.
When is your film going to get nominated for Best Picture?
My film?
Yeah.
I'm looking for a nice 2030 release date, somewhere in there.
Do I get to be the main star?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'm like Marvel. I'm planning like 10 years out in advance, not knowing that if it'll actually be made.
Right.
Oh my god. Be like the Thunderbolts and get like, do you see that two of its
yeah, and the bear actress.
She left.
Yeah.
And then Stephen Ewan got replaced by Bill Pullman. Or not Bill Pullman. Or is it Bill Pullman?
I don't know who got replaced by. So
I might be thinking of the dad instead of the son. The kid that's in Top Gun. That's the guy with the glasses. It's like Bob.
Oh yeah.
That Pullman guy.
Yeah, I don't know his name.
No, Bill Pullman's the dad. I don't know what the son's name is. Yeah.
The son's name is Hangman.
That's Glenn Powell.
Dude, Glenn Powell's a movie with Richard Linklater, speaking of Before Sunrise.
He does. I think it comes out later this year.
Looks fun.
It does. I saw a little bit of the trailer and I was like, this looks like a vibe.
Yeah.
Will it get an Oscar nom? Who knows?
Probably not. Richard Linklater does not get Oscar noms, unfortunately.
He doesn't.
Actually...
Most times he does.
Most times. I will say they actually finally did recognize the Before trilogy at the very end, because I think they did give some noms for writing.
Yeah, for the last two they did writing.
Yeah.
And then maybe he got like maybe one or two other ones.
But dare say they win it? No.
Nada. I mean, Boyhood, I got some Oscar noms.
Yeah. That is an interesting experiment that I'm excited to watch.
Sam,
That is a wild idea.
it's insane.
Let's make a short film for every year for 12 years and release it as one big movie.
I love
To
that.
make one big movie. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a crazy idea. And I mean, isn't some filmmaker gonna try and like up the ante and do like a longer one?
I saw that. Wasn't it like for
20 years or something?
Yeah.
Which I mean, like Boyhood's already pretty long. I mean, like it's like I can't remember if it's like 12 years or 15 years or something like that. But like adding another like 5 or so years to that, it's gonna be insane.
That's a lot of time out of your life.
Yeah,
For one project.
exactly. And I mean, like I get you can do other things on the side, but like at the end of the day, you still have to go back to it.
Yep.
Every year, like every other year, and you have to, round up everyone again, no matter what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. So a whole nightmare with scheduling, among other things. It's
Exactly.
crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's a wonder that Richard did it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening or watching to this podcast episode. If you listen to this and you want to watch future episodes, we have our YouTube linked in our little link. What is it called? Linktree?
Yeah.
Linktree. TJ, you should, by the way, TJ, you should update that.
I should.
Okay.
I kind of forgot it existed.
Yeah, TJ created a really nice link tree for us that needs a little updating. So in that link tree, TJ will, otherwise I will take him out.
Shit.
We will have a link for the YouTube channel so you can watch our next episodes on YouTube.
Yeah.
And without further ado, I think we'll catch you. I don't know what we're going to do next, but we'll catch you on the next episode of the Manic Movie Misses podcast.
Rocky ranking?
Wait, have we? Did we never do that?
We never did it.
Dude. Okay.
I forgot about the movie, and then we collectively forgot about the ranking.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, next episode, we dive into the Rocky movies. Peace.
That's